Hey yo, LAZ man, make sure y'all follow me on that Instagram. I just hit 50,000 subscribers. I'm hyped, and I'm about to hit 10,000 followers rather on TikTok. I'm feeling myself. Shout out to the bro Blurr. Shout out to the whole Southside Jamaica Queens. If you from South Jamaica out there, get in them comments. Let me know what block, what Ave, what block and Ave. Cause you know y'all Queens blocks is confusing out there. You heard? But if you from that QU and you a QU soldier from left rack to Rockaway, get in them comments. Let me know what block, what Ave, what street, what strip, what projects you out there repping. You heard? Shout out to the whole Brownsville, Brooklyn, the whole Howard projects, the whole Brooklyn. If you from Brooklyn out there, getting them yaments. You heard? If you from that Q borough though, you better air these comments out. And that's a whole fact. You heard? Z-Man Suicide Polo with the ski man running around the hood like He-Man. I'm back at it. Comment gang, I need y'all to tear this up. You heard? Donation gang. If you love what I'm doing on this channel, feel free to send me a Cash App donation. $ Gen Pop fam. You're.
So we get off the Q5, we walking up our way, you know what I'm saying? And they just came from out of nowhere around the corner, boom. And for the first time, son, a hammer was pulled out on me, man. They backed us down with the hammer and went all up in his pockets. They robbing my man right next to me, man. And Coupon got into the house, man. I'm saying to myself, niggas just pulled a gun on me. Like, wow. I said, it starts settling in. Like, don't believe what you hear about Queens. This ain't the South Side that I know. And I just want to say, man, speaking of Gen Pop family, man, we need you. We need daily Gen Pop episodes for real. You know, you had this in the chokehold, still do, man. It's a lot of people that done came up off your channel. I see them out there and all of that, trying to do their thing, getting their things started, man. But we gotta always stick with the originator, lads. You the number one with this shit. You're
Appreciate you.
It's all follow the leader.
Yeah, you know, I just dropped like 5 episodes, man. You feel me? I be taking a little 2-week break, man. Dudes be acting like I hung it up. Know what I mean? But I just dropped like 5 joints in a row, man. So if you know, a lot of people, man, they be complaining that they don't be getting the notifications. I don't know what it be, man. You heard? But they gotta go to that episode playlist, man, new and recent episodes, and they gonna find all of the joints. If they took a week off from the channel, you go onto that playlist, you're gonna see all the episodes that you missed, man. So you know what I mean?
Okay. Yeah, I ain't missed nothing. I've been on them all, even since the one what you talked about, River Park Towers was spitting that y'all, you heard? I used to live right across the street from them buildings, word, right on Sedgwick, man. It's crazy. Yeah. But I've been all over New York, you know what I mean?
It's a fact.
But I want to give a little something from my Southside history, because, you know, I done did all of this talk about Brooklyn, this, that, and the third, and 90% of these people don't even really know of my Southside history, you dig? So it's like this. First, because I ain't become Blurr till I got to Brooklyn. That's 89, man. You know what I'm saying? I had a whole life before that. You dig? Fucking, so it's like this. Started out, you know, from Farragut Projects. That's on my birth certificate. Then went back to Brownsville, you know what I'm saying? By 76. By 77, I moved to Jamaica, Queens, you know? Mostly, the thing about it is, like, throughout all my stories, all my little episodes and stuff, it's crazy because all this time, I was pretty much still stuck in that crack baby episode, because I was in the system, bro. Like, I was still in foster care throughout this whole shit. You feel me? Up until like 21 years old, man. I aged out of the system. Word. They didn't even know at the agency I was going through all that craziness down in the projects all over the world. But so 77, September of 77, I left Brownsville, you know what I'm saying? 1400, that was, you know, over there, 10 and boy, 1400, that's where my family was at, you heard? They sent me, my brother, to Jamaica, Queens, to live in this beautiful home, man. The Smiths family, you feel me? Now, they were my foster parents, Mr. and Mrs. Smith. You know what I'm saying? He was born in 1919. She was born in 1926, you dig? This is 1977, so they already have some age on them, you know? And here they go, being beautiful, taking in, I guess you would call, I don't want to call us no badass kids, because I was only 3, my brother was 2. So now, I guess the agency, they felt they did something good for us, you know, put us in a home. We're not in buildings anymore, you know what I'm saying? No more project life, and basically giving us a fresh start. We moved to this block, 155th Street, you know, nice homes and stuff. These houses that they sent us to, it was pretty much, used to be on swampland, this area in Queens. But, you know, Mr. Smith, he was a World War II veteran, you feel me? He's from Harlem, New York, you know what I mean? Harlem, USA, you know? And so when the veterans came home from the war, they had built these homes for them back then. You know what I'm saying? All of the people from Brooklyn and the Bronx and Harlem and all of that. This swamp area that was Jamaica, Queens, they built a lot of homes and stuff for them World War II veterans, you know what I'm saying, the African Americans. So he had this house way back in the 50s, you dig? So they sent me and my brother out there to live, give us a different environment and a loving family. I didn't find out until like almost 2000. He told me he was in the system when he was a kid, you know what I'm saying? He was a child of like 12, 13 kids, you know what I'm saying? His mother had back then, if I'm not mistaken, you know. So him and his wife, Mrs. Smith, they took me and my brother in. Now from 77, I was 3, so for the 77, 78, 79, up until about 81, they used to take us, Mrs. Smith used to take me and my brother back and forth to visits at the agency to see my moms and stuff. Remember I told you I had flipped out at the age of 6. So from 3 to 6, we were still seeing my biological moms, going to see her, little visits and shit at the agency. And I was going to PS 45 at that time. You know, that's where I started my elementary school at. You know, quite a few people from Southside went there, you know. And after they told us we wasn't going to see our mother no more, I really got twisted. I started having so many fights in school and all of that. And it was quite a few people that would oblige me back then too. Like, I ain't gonna hold you. That's one thing I could give it up for, man, about them. Queens, I know people used to always say, Queens, Queens, and all of that. But you gotta remember something, bro. It ain't like none of the other boroughs where it's mad buildings and, you know, really people really eating Chinese food and all of that. Yo, most of the majority of these people in these houses, they were raised with their grandparents, had ovens and stoves, and had that good hearty home cooked meals and stuff, and weights in the basement of their house. And so, like, you know, me, as I started to get into my wanting to fight and all of that, like I was saying, it was quite a few kids in the neighborhood that would oblige, man. Like, word, I had some of my toughest fights out there, starting from a little dude, you know. I had got left back in the 1st grade because I had started wilding out so much, you know what I'm saying? The first time I got left back was in the 1st grade. Boom. Now,
They shouldn't even been leaving no kids back in the 1st grade. That was That was old slave practices. You feel what I'm saying? Like, what
Yo,
the fuck? How the fuck can you tell a kid in the first grade what you ain't know how to play with blocks correctly?
no, yo, you
Obviously,
wanna know? Yo, you wanna know
obviously
what
you
they
needed
said
some
it
type.
was?
You said what? Who what?
You know why they said they left me back? They said I was too immature. Word them up, or son. I said, now look at it like, how mature can you be at 6 years old? They said I was too immature to go to the second grade, bro.
Yeah, what you really needed was some psychotherapy and some counseling. You feel what I'm
Yo,
saying? But they were so primitive back then, and not giving a fuck about people from bad districts like that. That they'll just tell you, they'll put you in special ed, cause you got
yo.
problems at home and shit. They'll put you in
Mhm.
special ed. Like, it was a
And
fucked up life back in them '80s, man.
yeah, and the thing about it is the school, they knew I wasn't there with my biological parents. They knew my background. They knew, you know what I'm saying, I was in the system. And they was doing all kind of shit. They tried to give me medication, man, pills and shit for me to take. They had the agency try to give me, drug me up and shit. So I was too hyperactive. Yo, shit was crazy for me, boy. I used to refuse to take them pills, man. I used to spit them shits out behind the couch before I left for school. Because when I did take them, by the time I get to half an hour into school, I'm sleeping, drooling on my desk, man. That shit was crazy.
Yeah, they
Word.
was quick to drug kids up, and it was some parents out there that was thinking that was okay just to get a check from the government every month for their
And
kids
now,
being on pills.
yeah, man. So I was refusing that shit. I was spitting them shits behind couches and everything, man. Word. So but like I said, I was getting into so many fights, and when I was younger, you had a few kids from my neighborhood, man, that was really, you know, on that type of timing too. You know what I'm saying? I gotta shout the names out because I knew them since I was a child, man. I used to have to fight this dude called Lance White. You know what I'm saying? Later on, he would grow up to become an LB, one of them LB dudes. His name was King. You know what I'm saying? From 134. You know, you had my cousin, Atiba, you know, he was doing this thing. You had little Demas. Demas was bad. He would oblige in a rumble back then too. You know what I'm saying? You had Bud, you know what I'm saying? These are the dudes from the back blocks. They had this dude named Russell that lived on my corner, you know. You had Lamont from the greenhouse, you know what I'm saying? Those are the ones that I would usually, oh man, Paul Freeman, AKA Scrap. You know what I'm saying? These are the guys in the neighborhood where I'm walking to the store, might get into a rumble with one of these dudes. It could go either way. You know what I'm saying? They kept you on your toes. In Southside, you had to have a knuckle game from the beginning. You know what I'm saying? That's what you was respected by. And you ain't have no hands, you was pretty much meatloaf, man. Because that's what they do. They throw their hands. That was the whole difference between my people from Brooklyn and my people from Queens growing up. You know what I'm saying? Queens, I pretty much take a loss here and there and get a win here and there. You know what I'm saying? I really didn't dominate. These kids they wasn't eating oodles and noodles, man. These guys is eating home cooked meals, man. Solid dudes, you know what I'm saying? Football teams and all type of shit like that. So it was different. Brooklyn, we was using weapons and jumping. That was crazy. So anyway, growing up, PS45 is always on a fight on the back of the bus. You know what I'm saying? That's when all of that was going on with me, man. From the kindergarten up into the third grade, man. Word. That's on that side. So after I was about 9 years old, I turned 9 years old. From 6 to 9, just being a terror. You know what I'm saying? And I lived on this block, 155th Street and 134th Avenue. Now, growing up, I always looked up to these dudes, man. They was to the right house of me. My two next door neighbors, the house to the right of my house and the house to my left of my house. We had some iconic people from the community and would later become, you know, I guess street legends or, you know, to the left I had Mark McCoy. And to the right, I had Elton. Elton. You know what I'm saying? Later on, they would turn into the guards around the early 80s, you know? They used to call me Little Elton. He would later on become Savior, you know? He's an OG from Southside, you know? He put a lot of work in and did a lot of numbers, you know? Did a lot of time, bro, a lot of time. I'm talking decades, you know? And welcome home to him. And my other homie, big bro, Mark McCoy, would become Born Wise, you know. Now, he was from Southside, but he also had some family and stomped and lived in Redfern, too. So, you know what I mean? Free him, free him. He got a lot of numbers, man. But them two, I wanted to be like when I was growing up, you know, because they were really tough. You know, I like the tough guys. Everybody loved those type of dudes, man. They put in some real work in the world, you know, and they would become the guards. It seemed like growing up, that's all that was always around me because, you know, it's like father figures, you know what I'm saying, was the GODs, man. I never took lessons or anything like that, but, you know, I was listening to one of your stories, you know what I'm saying, from the dude from the 18, I think his name was Shabu, and he was saying like how, you know, back in the early 80s, how they would go all around, you know, from Bronx, Queens, and all of that, and they would get the most official dudes out of the neighborhoods and, you know, turn them guard bodies, you know what I'm saying? So I guess when they hit that side, that's what they did with my big bros, you know what I'm saying, from my block or what have you, and neighborhood. Even my big cousin Rick, he became Wakim, you know? And these whew, these guys got stories of their own. I can't really get into it, but in the beginning, they helped mold me into, you know, my little mischievousness into a little bit, you know, deviousness, you know? And my big cousin Tweety, she was a female that had hands. She used to put her work in early, you know? So these are the people that installed the stuff in me early. I gotta shout them out. But so I became around 9, turned 9 years old. They moved me and my brother out of the Smith's house, you know? But it was always home to me. No matter where I went on the rest of my journey, I would always come back there, and they would always accept me in, like, yo, Damien, you home. You know, they called me Damien because they knew my biological family, my mom's and them called me Damon. But the catch is, my government name is Dawson. You feel me? So they try to keep it more like, you know, make me feel like more like family. So they used to call me Damien. And then they used to say I was bad, so they would call me Damien the Devil type shit. But I wasn't bad. I wasn't like that, man. I just, you know, the system snapped me, man. I was doing fine up until they told us I couldn't see my moms no more. Then it was like, you know what I mean? It's to rap. So at 9 years old, I had to leave the Smiths home because the school couldn't take me no more. And by then, you know what I'm saying, they've grown a little bit more older. You know, it ain't but so much spanking that you can give out. You know, Mr. Smith was born in 1919. It's 1983. You know, going on 84. You still got to chase me around the house with a belt to spank me. You know what I'm saying? So he got children older than my mama and my pops. You feel me? So I didn't realize, you know, how much I was I don't want to call a burden, but I know they love me to deal with that. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm going on 50 chasing around a 9-year-old, my own damn kid. And I'm like, man, Cal, don't take me away. You know what I'm saying? So I know it was love to make them deal with that extra, you know, stress of dealing with me, plus my brother. Like, you know, then they was raising their grandchildren. You know what I'm saying? So they got a bunch of youngins in the house. So the agency suggested that they take me out the house, you know, but and my brother, he wasn't really too much of a problem. But they said we can't keep one and the other one go. So, you know, we both had to skedaddle up out of there. So I moved to Far Rockaway. I was out there for a short stay, you know what I'm saying? I finished off the 3rd grade out there and did some 4th grade. Moved back to Southside from Far Rockaway, and I was on living on Farmers and 114. You know, I went to PS 118 over there, over near the Rock on Farmers. You know, graduated there. You know, from there, it's just a whole bunch of moving around. So now I'm around 11, going on 12, and they moved me to Rockaway Boulevard side, across the bridge. That's what we call when you cross Rockaway in the Van Wyck, going up on that side now. Call that across the bridge. So the agency put me with a family on that side called the Homes, you know. And it was on 129 and off of Rockaway near the Getty gas station. You know, right across from that house now, they have like a little Muslim school, you know. All the Islamic kids go to the school right there. It's directly across the street from the house. Now, if you're from Southside, on that side of town, you already know we had the corner house. They had a boat in the yard, Mr. Holmes. He was a real big, light-skinned guy. He was heavy set. His wife was short and brown skin, kind of heavy set. They was the Holmes. They had 2 sons. Now their oldest son barely was at the house. He didn't live there anymore. He was pretty much out in the street. You know, his name was Bandit. They used to call him Bandit. And the youngest son, he was 15, because I had just turned 12. Yeah, 11 going on 12. I was 12 when I was still with them. He was 15. He was going to John Adams High School. His name was Ivan. Ivan was light-skinned. He looked like his dad. He used to blink a lot, and he was an artist. He used to draw a lot. And now, I'm saying to myself, wow, I used to sneak outside and run the neighborhood. You know what I mean? They used to let me out or whatever. And to go to the library and stuff, because the library was pretty much right almost behind their house. And I would act like I'm going to the library, but yet I wound up running in the streets. On the corner of the block, you know, it was a supermarket. I think the supermarket might still be there, you know, going up Rockaway. And at the corner, we had this chick, I forgot her name. I used to like her. And at the back of her house had like a green plastic awning over it, right across from the supermarket. And right across from there, you had like a little lumberyard area behind the supermarket. Across from my house, it was this yellow house. You had the Puerto Ricans lived there. You had 2 Puerto Rican homies that I ran across. One name was Paul, and I think his brother name was George, you know what I'm saying? The one was chunky and big. I forgot which one was the biggest. The tallest one was like my age, and the other one was younger and slimmer, right? We used to run around, and we used to run inside there's a lumber yard across from this school on 129 and Rockaway. I don't know the name of this school, but it's an elementary school. It's not 155, because that's the school I went to. It was more so up the block. It's a big school. This one was like dark brick red school right there on the corner, right there on Rockaway. Now, directly across from it is a lumber yard. We used to run inside of there, sneak inside of there, and go through lockers and all type of messing up paperwork and all of that stuff, man. Just being badass kids, you know what I'm saying? And I had a nice little time over there. I almost got my first experience with a female with shorty that lived in that house that had that green plastic on the back of it. It was a corner house on 129 and 128th, I believe. You know, it's 129, boom, boom, boom. Yeah, right on that corner. I think, man, it's right there across from Daggone Supermarket. She was my little boo thing, man. But before we could even get too far into it, it was 4th of July, you know, they let me go out to play. Now I'm playing with my Puerto Rican homeboys and stuff, and I messed around and threw a jumping jack in the air. Now this jumping jack, it flew into the lumber yard on the corner that's right behind the supermarket and got into some hay. I don't know how the hell they had hay But it got into a pile of hay last, man. This shit started a big ass fire, man. Oh shit. I runs up the block, get back to my house, you know what I'm saying? The homes, they another set of foster parents, you feel me? This was like my fourth foster home. No. This is like the sixth one. This is like the sixth foster home before I went to the group home right after this. So I'm 12, boom. Messed around, jumping jack flew up in the air, went to the hay, big old fire at the damn, it was like a miniature lumber yard right there. Boom, by the time I got to the corner, they had knew about it. Not even 2 weeks passed, man. They done packed my behind up, man, last, and now I'm on my way to Long Island. You know what I'm saying? They put me in a group home in East Massapequa. You know what I'm saying? And that's where I started going to the junior high school, Emmyville Junior High School. I went there, I started the 7th grade up in there. Now, I had 2 roommates and shit. I know it's supposed to be about Southside, but I'm just speed forward. We had 2 roommates, Dwayne and Kareem. We was mighty midgets. We was all shared the room from 12 to 14. Then boom, started a fire in there. Had to get out of that group home. Boom, now they moved me back to Southside. You feel me?
How you started a fire in that joint though?
It was like, I don't even remember, but it was in the rooms. You know what I'm saying? We had upstairs, you know, down towards the base. It was a big house. It had like 12 kids lived there in this group home. Downstairs you had the older kids from 14 to 18. We had 2 rooms down there. Upstairs you had a room with one dude. He was like a little mentally challenged. His name was Bubba. He was older. Mad big. He looked like a grown man, son. When I tell you about 260 and 6 foot change, he had his own little room. Then me and Dwayne Kareem, we had a room, but in the room, you can go up. It had like an attic type up there inside the room. You know, like, I don't know how, but the fire got started. I don't remember how that happened, but I know we had to get out the house. Then they got trailers in the driveway of the house. The house is still there. If you Google it, it's 10 Lake Street. You Google it, I think it's still a facility. You know what I mean? But it's got like the special people that live there now. You know, that's what I'm gonna call them. You know, it's not just a group home for kids anymore. So, but I can't really remember how that fire started up in the roof of the attic of the room. You know what I mean? But I got blamed for it. And before you know it, they moved me out of there. But before I left there, I got left back in the 7th grade. Didn't make it out because we used to cut school all the time. Me, Dwayne, Kareem, you know what I'm saying? And go to, we had twins that lived over there. And, Danielle and Daniel, you know what I'm saying? They was the twins, a brother and sister. Then we had this chick that lived over there. They, you know, her grandparents, they never was home. We used to cut school and drink the liquor up and stuff. And it was about June before I turned 14. That's, you know, the 3 of us, you know, back then, we all wound up having experiences with her. You know what I'm saying? I was the last one to be, you know, they locked me out the house while Dwayne Kareem was in there with her friend and stuff. I got in there, got my yipes on last. You know, it was funny shit back then, man. But so after all of that incident, they moved me back to Queens. Now I'm back in Southside, so I'm happy because I know I could go back home to my, you know, Mr. and Mrs. Smith is mommy and daddy for life. You know what I'm saying? They passed in '99 and 2002, and I was still at the household. You know, I'm still with the family to this day. You know, the whole family took me in. I'm the little brother. I'm the uncle. I'm all of that to this day. So, you know, I've always looked at that as home because that's all I've known since 3 years old. You know what I mean? That's always been home. It's been 155th Street, you know, and 134 Avenue. So, but now I'm on 109 They moved me to a group home on 109 in Merrick. I'm gonna just say it like that, even though it was on 108th and like 171st place or street or something like that. I can't really remember, but I just say 109 because that's the main block over there on Merrick. You know what I'm saying? They're IS8. So they moved me to that group home. Boom. Now I'm in IS 59 is my junior high school. So I get there halfway through my second time in the 7th grade, you know what I mean? So it's about 88 going on 89, somewhere like around there. I graduated out of there in 90. The summer of 90, I got out of that junior high school. I was 15 already, and they just pretty much pushed me out. You know what I'm saying? I didn't really, my diploma ain't have no gold sticker on it like the rest of the people's did. Like, you know what I'm saying? So that shit was crazy, man. But so now I'm at IS 59. I'm living on 109. That's the first time I come back. This is when I start experiencing like the streets. They had crews and gangs now. It wasn't like when I first lived in Southside, you know, it wasn't like that. The last thing, but as I remember, before I moved to Long Island, it was a crew over on Rockaway Boulevard. That's the first time I ever seen somebody get knocked out before I moved to Long Island in that group home. And I was around 12. This is 86, right? I seen this mad group. I seen somebody get knocked out. And the dude was like, yeah, Lost Boys, right? It was up Rockaway near the daggone post office. And I was like, damn, but I'm a kid, so this gigantic group of dudes, it was like, they looked like they was high school, big kids, right? And I seen somebody get knocked out, and I heard them talking about Lost Boys. But it just faded. I knew it was a group of them, right? I didn't actually know that later on in life I would be so close with these people, and that my childhood friends actually became these people. You know what I mean? This crew. But yeah, that's the first time I ever seen somebody get knocked out cold. It was, and the mob was forming around somebody. Dude got knocked out, and they said Lost Boys. That's what happened before I went to Long Island. So now they moved me back to Queens. You know what I mean? I'm in the group home. I'm going to IS 59, and that's the first time I ever got jumped. You know, I'm in the 7th grade. I'm in gym class. I meet this one dude, you know, he's in my gym class. I'm sitting there. I guess people always say like I had a mean mug or a screw face or whatever, right? Now this dude, he ain't cared nothing about that. He was a joker. He was a jokester, but he was a serious dude, you know what I mean? He had a lot of heart or whatever. But I guess, you know, I'm sitting on the gym floor, and I got my hands behind my back. You know, I'm leaning on the floor, my palms to the floor, just with my legs, whatever. This dude sneaks up behind me and grabs both my wrists and just pulls me. I can't do nothing, son. My arms behind my back. He dragging me on my ass around the gym. And I got so mad when he let me go. I started chasing him. And it was just so funny to me. I gotta shout him out because he's my brother to this day. His name is Naron. Word. This dude named Naron Rice, man. He was in my 7th grade gym. We bros to this day, man. So that's when I got cool with him. That's how, you know, you start meeting people as time goes by in the school. That was like my first friend in the school. From when he did that, I was like, oh, this is a funny motherfucker. I could rock with him, you know? So, boom, one day, the Q5 bus, I'm with one of my classmates, and we get off the bus on Linden and Merritt. It's a church there called AME. A couple of doors away from the church, it was a game room, right? And it's kind of in the winter time, and I have a snorkel on. You know what I'm saying? I got my brand new snorkel. go in this game room with this dude, Rodney. His name was Rodney. He was in my class. He wasn't a tough guy. He was pretty much a nerd. Like I said, I was always kind of placed, after I did placement tests, my classes were, you know, in the higher up in the grade, like, you know, more sophisticated, intelligent kids or whatever. And I just happened to fit in. So he's cool with me. We go to this, he told me about the game room because it's across the park from his crib. So, we go in there, what do you know? A mob comes in there. I gotta say rest in peace to the dude. I heard he got murdered, you know what I'm saying? This dark-skinned dude. He lived on Farmers, close to Farmers and Baisley area. Farmers and Baisley meet up at. He lived over there on that block. It's a Popeyes on the corner of that block where he lived at. His name was O'Neal. You know what I'm saying? O'Neal. I think he took on the name attribute Ironside is what they said. They called him Ironside when I heard news about him when I got back in Queens when I was an adult. It's like, yo, you remember the dude? Yeah, Ironside. I said, who? He's like, said, nah, that's what O'Neal turned his name into that. You know?
Why, he was D-Sep or something?
Nah. It ain't no decent. He from Queens. He was a Jamaican dude. I think he was Jamaican. You know what I'm saying? Dark skinned dude. He just had an attitude, sure. And he would get into a lot of shit. You know? But so he had a little crew with him because he picked up a team because he had got jumped in IS-59 himself. And by a crew called the Rascals, you know what I'm saying? And they had a crew up there called the Rascals, man, and they was just terrorizing shit, man. Word. So that's when I realized gangs was popping. You know what I'm saying? I had a few crews that didn't like me out there. You know, I'm new to the neighborhood. Naron said they must have smelled Brooklyn on me. You know, because nobody liked me. The girls liked me, though, you know. So we had this game room, and a crew just comes up in there. Apparently, because they used to jump on the back of the bus and take black medallions from people. You know, this is the De La Soul era still. They had the Public Enemy era. Either you had a stopwatch on your neck, or you had a black medallion with the little African symbol in the middle. You know, those type of
and
stuff.
If you wasn't tough back in the days in the 80s, you couldn't even rock a stopwatch or a medallion and be safe. You might get away with rocking it, but if you go through the wrong neighborhood and niggas don't know you and you got a good crispy red stopwatch with none of the buttons missing or nothing like that, niggas was trying to yap that shit off your neck.
Hey, yo, this is the era where you would have your stop. I'm glad you said that, too, because I had a red stopwatch all around my neck, and I had red suede felines, dog. What the hell was I doing with suede felines? And I had a aqua blue snorkel, no name joint, you know what I'm saying, courtesy of the group home. These bum ass people, they used to give us clothing allowance $90 every 3 months, son. So I was looking a mess. My fits was not fitting, but I kept a fresh flat top, you know what I'm saying? So yo, anyway, let's get to this. I'm in the game room over there off American Linden, and the crew came up in there. Now, Rodney knows these dudes. He's been in the school with these guys since the 6th grade. You know what I'm saying? He's been around them for a couple of years, and I guess he know when they show up, it's trouble. You know, get low. They came up in there, man, and I can't remember what they were saying, but one of them was saying something to the effect like, what you was looking at, you know what I'm saying? Like, because I told you I was watching them. They jump on the back of the bus and jump off, and I guess they followed us to where we went. And they was kind of say like I was mugging them. Nigga, what I look like mugging a whole group of dudes, you know what I'm saying? I'm just watching y'all movements, you know what I'm saying? Y'all up there snuffing people and taking bus passes and shit. This is when the school used to give out bus passes and all of that. They would take niggas bus passes and do all of that. O'Neal and his little crew. I think one of the kids' name was Bobby. He had buck teeth and dark skin. He buck tooth dude. He was underneath O'Neal. It was a few of them. So anyway, they came up in the game room and was mumbling something like, "Yo, she's looking at pop," and right then and there I knew it was on. So they told niggas like, "Step outside," you know. The guy in the store was like, and the game room was like, "Nah, not in here," type shit. Mind you, I ain't never been in a situation where I had to fight more than one person up into then, you know what I'm saying, at that point. So I step outside, I'm thinking, naive, I'm thinking I'm gonna get a fair one, I'm thinking we gonna rumble. As soon as I get out the door, I'm looking around, and my boy Rodney is halfway across Sayers Park. He done, when I say he jetted on me and left me, son, he was gone. I looked, I seen him halfway across the park. I said, "Oh, shit." I said, "All right, yeah, word." Or I tell you, I ain't never seen nothing like that in my life, how fast he was gone. I said, "Damn," so I'm by myself. So it appeared. So I'm going, the main nigga O'Neal, he want to shoot the fair one. So I'm thinking that me and him gonna fight a fair one. So I'm going to take my coat off. As soon as I get a chance to start taking my shit off, they just jumped on me like a wolf pack. Boom, 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 right? So I'm swinging, they swinging. Boom. Next thing you know, out of nowhere, this maniac jumps into the pile and starts snuffing niggas and shit. Got niggas up off of me, and they kind of backed down now. They didn't want to get it on with two of us. I look up, it's homeboy from my gym class, not wrong. Word, man. I was like, "Oh shit, what's up? Yo, good looking, blah blah blah." You know what I'm saying? Like, this was my dude from then on. That's been my right hand, man. Him and another cat that was in my class that just happened to not be there that day, named John Casey. You know what I'm saying? So you had Dawson, Naron, and John. We was the trio up at IS 59. And we had drama, man. The Jamaicans that lived on the block of 59, they had a house next door to the school. And it was a Jamaican family and crew. They was always deep as hell, man. And they was from all over. This is around the time, you know, the late 80s, mid 80s to late 80s, you know, the dreads was crazy. In Brooklyn, Queens, all over the Bronx, wherever they landed, when they came here from Yard, they was making it known they was in the building. And the Jamaican squad, they didn't like Naron for shit. You know what I'm saying? So he had beef with the whole crew. O'Neal and them didn't like me. The Rascals didn't like John. So we basically was forced to just be the trio. You know what I mean? And as we go down Merrick Boulevard, you had another crew that was on Baisley and Merrick area called the 9X Posse. So riding the bus, you know what I'm saying, coming up and down Merrick, you had so many different crews and so many, you know, the bus will stop at an area where this gang hang out. Then you go down a few more stops. Now you got this squad of dudes. You know what I'm saying? It was always a journey going up and down Merrick Boulevard. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes you would take the 5 or you would catch the 85 or something and get off and walk some blocks. You know what I'm saying? You had to be strategic with your travels going up and down Merrick. Word up. But as I'm over there in the group home, you know, I went through my little trials over there, fighting and shit in there. And rest in peace to Corey D. He's a Southside legend. His house was like 3-4 houses away from this group home. And he had a younger brother named Mikey. And I think the dude was their younger cousin named Jamal Paulin. One day, me and John, because John lived around the corner from there too, he would take the 5 mostly all the way with me, and we get off at 109, and then we walk up, and he'd go his way, and I'd go my way. You know what I'm saying? They didn't like John. You know what I'm saying? Mikey D, and Jamal. Bro, I'm telling you, we in the 8th grade, because John, he looked older. He had a whole thick mustache and everything. He was 15 years old, just like me. So we get off the Q5, and we walking up our way, you know what I'm saying? And they just came from out of nowhere around the corner, boom. And for the first time, son, a hammer was pulled out on me, man. They backed us down with the hammer and went all up in his pockets. You know, I didn't even have pockets. I had sweatpants on with no pockets back then, you know what I'm saying? I used to just wear mad sweatsuits and shit. They robbing my man right next to me, man, and talking shit to us. I was like, damn. I got into the group home, I got into the house, man. I'm saying to myself, niggas just pulled a gun on me. Like, wow. I said, it starts settling in. Like, don't believe what you hear about Queens. This ain't the Southside that I know. You know what happens to the one-on-one fights? I done got jumped already. Niggas done backed us down with the hammer, and these dudes is in 8th grade. And the dude who had the gun, bro, you go to a Catholic school. He went to what was the name of this? It was a Catholic school up on Merritt's Boulevard. I forgot the name of it, but it was like 4 blocks away from IS 59. It's right there. I can't get it off. I forgot the name of it. And somebody in the comments will be able to tell you the name of it because they know where it's at. Oh man.
Yeah, they'll let it be known in the comments for sure.
Yeah. Oh, it's something Roberson, something like that. It was something, man. But I was like, damn, this dude go to that Catholic school up the block and he got a hammer. Word. You know, it was a hammer at that time. You know, we was straight saying gun, man. Nigga pull a gun on me, man. Like, wow, blew my mind. And I was mad because I knew neither one of them could beat either one of us. And obviously they knew it too. That's why they came with the guard you now. And I said to myself, they ain't get that shit from no place, none other but Corey D. You know what I'm saying? God bless the dad, because he was outside, you know, getting money. He had his, you know what I mean? Gun game was up. He was a rapper, all of that, you know. In Southside, you had some names that would always be, I guess, monumental. Some Southside legends, man. You know what I'm saying? I was in a group home in there. You had some Cat's nephews was in the system with me too. You had one big light skinned dude. His name was Jamal. You know what I mean? And his brother name was Jamal. Now, when back then. They got their spots raided over there. That was on Liberty Ave over there. You know what I'm saying? Off of near Liberty and Merrick area over there. They had the houses over there got all boarded up. They came from there. I'm like, damn, how they take you from there and move you still in the same neighborhood that you grew up in all your life. You know what I mean? But they was in there, and word, man, bigger. I don't know where my homie at, Donald Odom, but he was from Brooklyn, you know, and he had a fight one day. He was fighting with Mikey and Jamel, and then boom, out of nowhere, Corey D snuck up and snuffed them and dropped them and stuff, and you know. That was crazy, man. They used to always have situations with that group home right there. And people in the comments, they'll know it's on like 171. I had a couple of little females that liked me that lived a couple of doors away. You had Nina. She was from right there off the strip 108. Nina, she was pretty, man. She looked a little Indian, you know. I used to build with her a lot. A female across the street, she had jerry curls. Her name was Keisha. Her whole family on that corner house was getting money too. I liked her. She went to what's that school up there on Hillside? Damn, I can't remember the name. Not Franklin K. Lane. It's on Hillside going towards Long Island, man. Dang, I can't remember these names. I know it too, But anyway, she went to that school over there up on Hillside. And I liked her too. She had jerry curls and stuff. Her house was a drug house. They always getting money right there. Oh, word, on 171 and 108, man. Oh, man. So I went through that. Now, from the group home, I used to walk from there, from Merrick, all the way back to 155th Street. Now, at this time, when I first was living over there, before I went to the ventures of moving around and going, living on 129 and going to the group home, when I was from, was called New York Boulevard, you know what I'm saying, 134th Avenue and New York Boulevard. That's when I was a youngin', man. When I came back in the 80s, it wasn't New York Boulevard no more. It was God Brewer Boulevard, you know what I'm saying? And I really didn't know how to get back to the house through the buses and stuff. All I knew how to do was walk up Merrick, cut through Roxdale, walk down 134th, and walk straight to the back block. That's how I made my way home, you know? But, cause I knew the 85, you could get off the 85 bus and cut through Roxdale, you know? So my navigation, I still had some of it, but it was so all brand new to me all over. So, I'm walking over there. Now, the whole neighborhood is different. We got game rules on God Brewer. No more Buster Brown on the corner. You know, it's different. The Smith still took me and I call them mommy and daddy. You know what I mean? And I'm in a group home. I used to go back home and hang out with their grandson. His name is Unique now, but you know, anybody know Tawan, you know what I'm saying? And we hang out and he take me to God Brewer and him and Darian and we call him D. We run around and after it get nightfall, Mr. Smith would take me back and drop me back to the group home, you know what I'm saying? Because they knew I was still in the system. I can't, it ain't like I could come back and live with them again, but I could always come and get a meal and hang out and watch TV. You know what I'm saying? This is when Microphone Fiend was out, you know? Niggas had flat tops and shit. I always kept in touch, you know what I'm saying? That's home forever. 134. So, now, I had a fight in the group home where, like I said, he said he was related to Fat Cat, you know? And he was 18, mad big, and he cut my finger with a knife. It was on a Saturday. On Saturdays, we get to do our own little independent living day. You do your own laundry, you cook your own breakfast and everything. Then as far as lunch and dinner, staff would do that, but all of the residents get a chance to make their own breakfast and stuff on Saturdays. So he cut my hand and shit, and I didn't tell the staff. I didn't snitch and blow it up. You know, the little old rigid steak knives, you know what I'm saying? I still got the scar on my finger to this day. I went for a long-ass walk, lads. I went for a long-ass walk from all the way from 108. I don't know how scenic the route was, but I wound up on Hollis Ave and 204, just walking. That's when I seen my moms again for the first time ever. I'm walking, and I see the lady on the other side of Hollis Ave walking the opposite direction. I happen to look like, Mom! She's like, damn it! Words. I found my moms. I told her in the agency when they said we wasn't going to never see her again, I told her I ain't going to get adopted. I'm going to find you. And I damn sure found her, son. I had a fight, went for a walk. Ran across her. She's like, what's up? What's going on with you? Blah, blah, blah. Let her know what happened. And I had a fight. I showed her my finger. She walked me back to the group home. You know what I'm saying? Met the staff and all of that. I shoot back to Brooklyn with her. Got familiar with the family. Moved back there. You know what I'm saying? And went through all of my trials and tribulations with Brooklyn, right? And, you know, the old pushing and Farragut and all of that stuff. So pretty much from end to end in Brooklyn, I had burnt out my welcome. I wore my welcome out in Brooklyn, I guess, you know. And my mom's, she called Mrs. Smith, like, can Damon come back and live out there again? You know, now at this point, I got 3 children. I'm 20 years old. You know, I was renting a room from a fiend, but I went through that You know, Death got in the elevator situation. So now it's time for me to just basically get up out of Brooklyn for a little while and get my life together, you know, because I was heading nowhere fast. All this Rikers Island, all this bullcrap. So they was like, yeah, he can come home. And but they say they was like, he has to do the right thing. He has to promise that he's going to behave and get it together, you know, get himself together. He got 3 kids. He got to get a job. He got to do this. He can't be in the street. They didn't really know as the extent of me playing with guns and back and forth to Rikers Island and hustling, dope, crack, and all of that. They never knew about that. They would just pretty much know I would always be mischievous, getting into fights and stuff like that. So they was like, you know, they didn't want none of that type of behavior that I used to display when I was living with them as a child, you know. Like every day I went to school, damn, they had a fight. You know what I'm saying? So they was like, yo, did he change? Is he going to behave? Like, all right, they tell my moms, okay, send him. They packed me up from Brooklyn and moved back to Queens, right? Now, my first day coming back, like I said, I didn't know how to get there any other way. So I'm coming up Bedell Street, and I'm cutting through Roxdale. And I know to cut across near the school, 72, IS 72, it's a junior high school there. A lot of people went to that school from the community, you know what I'm saying? Even your boy 50 Cent went there, you know what I'm saying? I'm coming across the street, I see this tall dude with the dreads and stuff leaning on the wall. On the corner of God Brew and 134 is a cleaners, and he's just leaning there, standing up against the wall. I walk past him, I'm looking, I'm like, damn, he look familiar. You know what I'm saying? Now this is around the time where, you know, Lost Boyz has a couple of singles on the radio, you know what I'm saying, lifestyles and all of that. Everybody's bugging, don't give a damn. You know, that I just found out from my family when I got out there, because they was like, what are you saying? And I was singing the hook all wrong to lifestyles. I was singing, everybody's family don't put them down. They laughed at me. They like, what are you talking about? I was feeling that because, you know, I've been through some shit with family too. Like, I ain't always been included in pretty much none. I've been like a black sheep my whole life, you heard last. No matter whether it was foster family, biological, or whatever, it's been rough trying to just fit in, you know what I'm saying? It's hard playing a role that you never had in your life, you know what I'm saying? Like, even with my biological moms, man, it was hard learning how to be a son, you know what I'm saying, to her, how to be a cousin to my first cousins and shit, how to be a nephew. Even with my siblings, you know what I'm saying? We haven't lived under the same roof our whole life. I never lived with my twins, you know what I'm saying? Like, I had to learn how to be somebody's brother, son, nephew, cousin. So it's always been rough, you know what I'm saying, for me. I always, to this day, it's just me right now. It's love all over the board, but to this day, I'm still alone. Except for the fact I'm not. I got my 9-year-old with me, son. Throughout the last 6 months, I pretty much got custody of my son, man. Word, it's just me and him against the world right now. You heard? Back to back. So at 9, I was thrown to the wolves, and at 9, he comes to me. Now I got a 9-year-old to bring up from the root before it get too worse for him in the world. That's a blessing. I had to throw that in there. But I know I'm kind of all over the place. Picture the Edit King. So they tell my moms, yeah, he can come back to live with us in Queens. You know what I'm saying? Just he got to do the right thing. So now I don't already look through some hammers of some bona fide people that put people under. They send people to heaven. They allow me to live. You know what I'm saying? More than one instance, you know? I done escaped. I done been in HDM. I done been in the 4 building. I done been in the 6 building. I done been on Brooklyn House. I done been through all of those type of things, man. You know, and I have 3 kids and no job. You know, no diploma, no nothing. So they like, yeah, he can come stay, but he has to get his life together. He has to, you know. So I promised them that I would do the right thing. Unlike when I promised my aunt I would do the right thing when I came to Brooklyn and really went stupid. You know what I mean? I said, boom, for some reason I had so much more respect for them, you know, for the Smiths, because first of all they was older, and you know, I really, you know, you don't shit where you sleep, and I was not gonna ever put them in a situation where, you know, the gunman coming to their house looking for me. You know what I'm saying? Or I'm coming to their house one day and I done did something in the streets in Southside and the people in there in the living room waiting on me. You know what I mean? So I said I was never gonna bring that energy there. So I come back out there and like I said, I cut through, homeboy standing on the wall. God bless the dead, it's Freaky Todd, man. I get to the house and I talk to their grandson. I said, yo, I think I just seen one of your Lost Boy homeboys up there on the block, man. I think I just seen one of them Lost Boys. And he's like, yeah, you know, blah, blah, blah. He said, that's what we are. I said, what? He said, yeah, we LBs, blah, blah, blah. Show me the handshake and all of this and that. I'm like, man, I'm not getting involved with y'all. You know, all I'm saying to myself is another crew. Come on, first of all, I'm already DCEP. You know what I'm saying? I ain't, how would you say, drop a flag? I'm DCEP for life, you know? I said, that's one crew. I ain't coming, moving to Queens, and I'm joining LBs. But then I'm looking, and these are the dudes that I've known ever since elementary school. Hot peas and butter and all of that stuff, man. The red light, green light dudes. We all teenagers now and early 20s and shit like that, and they all Lost Boys, the crew. And then I said to myself, I said, oh snap. That's when I remember when I was like, before I went to Long Island, I was like, oh, where's a gang out there called Lost Boys? I remember somebody got knocked out by one. You know what I'm saying? I was like, oh, y'all part of that? All right. I said, damn, straight up and down, I'm not hanging with y'all. You know what I'm saying? I'm not hanging with no crews or none of that. I stayed in the house for a few months with Mr. and Mrs. Smith, and, you know, I was playing Mr. Goody Goody. But at the same time, lads, these dudes was doing so much. They were coming in, they drinking Devil Springs and had all of these chicks, and, you know, the LBs was popping, Lost Boys was popping at this time. You can't tell me nothing. They had it. They had that wave, man. Cheeks, Ty, Lou, Spig, the back blocks, across the bridge, all over. So I'm like, man, I couldn't take it no more. I said, I gotta get some air. I gotta go outside, you know. And Mr. Smith, he was tired of me just sitting in the house. He's like, yo, why don't you go outside? Go outside. So I'm like, all right. So I go outside, and I goes around the corner. Now, it's this dude named T-Roy, Big Troy. I know him since I was a youngin', you know what I'm saying? Since I was 6, 7 years old. Now, his house around the corner, he was on 156th Street, and we was on 155th Street. I've always known him. Now, his house was pretty much a hangout house. Like, the whole gang is up in there, man, from top to bottom. You know what I'm saying? You go to Troy house, you know what I'm saying? You got LBs in the basement, you got them in the kitchen, you got them in the living room. We just smoking. His house was, I wouldn't call it a trap house because nobody wasn't trapping out of there, but everybody came there to drink, smoke, and just bullshit, listen to music, and just, you know what I'm saying? That was the hangout house for the whole crew. On the stoop, inside the house, in front of the house, you know what I'm saying? On the corner of 156 and 134. All at nighttime, you got 5, 6, 7, 8 cars out there. It was just like, what the hell is this? It was like being on any major boulevard or strip out there, just like, oh, what the fuck? Like, you know what I mean? So right around the corner, so I got addicted to that. Every time you turn around, I'm at Troy house hanging out, and we going to the park up the block, got Brewer at 134. We this area is in Roxdale now. That's Roxdale Village, you know what I'm saying? So one side of the God Brewer is all of these buildings, 20 buildings. It's, you know, you want to call it like a project if you want to, but it's co-op. But you got the Roxdale and God Brewer people, and then you got the houses, which is a back blocks, you know what I'm saying? Now the back blocks, they had the house squad, you know what I'm saying? These dudes formed a crew called the house squad. Then they turned into LBs, you know what I'm saying? Um, just it was just insane. I'm like, damn, now I'm indirectly swooped into a whole new crew, you know, even though I always let it be known, yo, I'm D-Shep, you feel me? Around this time, the music was popping. It's 95, 96. You had Marcon's Tech and Steel, aka Smith and Wesson, you know, Helter Skelter, Rock, rest in peace, Ruckus, aka Sean Price. You had OGC, you know what I'm saying, my brother Strain, you know, Top Dog Louie, you know what I'm saying? You had the representatives, all of that. Then you had Rave Roulette, you know what I'm saying? He was down with Next Level Entertainment. He had him and his cousins, you know what I'm saying? I forgot the name with that they had for themselves. Flip City, you know what I'm saying? That's when Rave was Flip City, you know what I'm saying? My con that gave me the name Blurr, he had him and his boy Guess. They had a rap duo called The Punishers. They all was down with Next Level, you know what I'm saying? DR Period Studio we used to go to, you know what I'm saying? So MOP was up in there, you know. So this is the 90s rap era too, so I'm caught up in the wave of all of that, you know what I'm saying? It was funny to me, like everybody was doing rapping now, you know? Everybody that I knew are doing rap. So yeah, I'm like, damn. I met this dude. He got introduced to me, and I was correct. It was one of the Lost Boys. It was Talik, man. So used to go to the studios and stuff, and come back, come to Troy House to smoke and hang out and shit. He was like, yo, he come and make jokes. He's like, yeah, I just left your boy rocking them, and and you know. If you can go to the archives and check, you know what I'm saying, they got a few songs together still intact. They did some shit with Cheeks and them, Game Over, you know what I'm saying, with the Mario Brothers beat. And I'm like, oh, they did shows together at the Apollo, you know what I'm saying? These dudes from Queens like, yo, they came rock and rock, they came Helter Skelter, they came out with rollerblades at the Apollo. We know your people. You D-Shep too. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? But for the most part, you would think I was an LB, you know what I'm saying? Because my brother and my cousins and all of them from Southside, you know, they all are that. So now I'm running around with these dudes, and I'm not doing any crime, but the Smiths, they told me I could come back home if I'm gonna get it together. I got 3 kids, man. It's 96. I got 3 kids already. You know, 95, something about 96. I'm running around with these LBs crazy. I'm drinking Devil Springs vodka with them. Smoking. Boom, I start going out, jumping in the cars and going places with these dudes. Now, I never knew it, but LBs, they had drama in Hempstead, you know what I'm saying? I go with these dudes out there one night to Hempstead, to a strip club, you know. I never was a freaky deaky dude like that, but these guys, my boys and shit from out there, they was heavy on the, you know, they made the G-buns, the liquor, the condom. They was all on that. They was, you know what I'm saying? They just on that booze, bitches, and money. You know what I'm saying? But that's what I thought. But they was into it too. They was putting in work in the streets as well, you know what I'm saying? LBs and shit. And so they had brass drama in certain areas of New York, you know what I'm saying? And shit like that. They would go to shows and get into drama with people. Like they got it on with Mobb Deep and shit. One of them nights I didn't go with them. You know, quite a few nights I didn't go places with them. Like I didn't go to get in the Get Up video when they did that. I didn't go to the block and get inside the What's Wrong with the What's Wrong video. And you know, I tried to stay away from all of that. But I lived with a couple of LBs. You know what I'm saying? My older brother Poochie and the guard Unique. So they all affiliated with that. We go to Long Island to a strip club called the Garden of Eden. It's in Hempstead, and like they had the wave, they had the what was it? Lex Coupes, Beamers, in the Benz. You know what I'm saying? That's when that song was super popping. we out there in Hempstead in the strip club, and they must have played this song back to back at least 12, 13 times in the clubs. And niggas is at the bars. Like, these LBs took over the strip club, right? And the dudes that live out there, that's their little hometown. That's their little hometown spot. Like, and they realize, hold up, these LBs is out here in our shit and got the spot turned up. You feel me? The strippers is all over, niggas, all of that, right? I'm out there. That's my guy, R.O.D. His name is Rod. Call him R.O.D. for sure. It's Real or Die, you know? Salute to him, man. He one of the big bros out there, you know? LB from 134. 134 is flooded, man. It has so many different little intricate crews, different little crews over there. You know what I'm saying? You had BTB, man, that stand for Behind the Boulevard, man. Oh, freaking place. You edit king. But anyway, he had rest in peace, Fat Shy, you know. He's the first DJ for 50 Cent, G-Unit, you know what I'm saying? When they started off, you know what I mean? Yeah, he was DJ. But anyway, we out there in Hempstead, and they played this song so much. A rumble breaks out, man. A fight break out. These Hempstead dudes and these LBs, you know what I'm saying? Now R.O.D., his cousin Craig stalls off on two, drops two of them off the rip. Bing, bing. The rumble takes its way outside. The all kind of confusion is outside the club. These dudes started backing guns out, chasing niggas and all of that. I don't know how I wound up coming back to the club, but at the door was closed, and one of these Hempstead dudes, they had the hammer. I think it had to be jammed, but they had my boy Rod. I kicked the door in, boom. Me and him ran back inside. There's a whole bunch of madness that night, man. But that's when I bonded with Real or Die, man. Word.
What you mean? They had dudes back down and y'all had to run back up in the club?
Yeah, man.
And you said
some niggas,
they was trying to hit it and it wasn't hitting?
Yeah, they had Rod. He was stuck at the door of the club. He couldn't get back in, and he damn sure couldn't go forward. He was stuck. And nigga had the hammer on him, and I don't know what he was fidgeting. He couldn't pop him. And I happened to come through and kick the door open. It sounded like a movie, unbelievable, but it's true testimony. I kicked the door of the club, boom, kicked it open. Me and Rod went back inside, all the way to the back of the club, into the room where the chicks are, and all the way in the back. And now we up in there with it was crazy that night. I was like, man, that shit was something else, man. But we get back to Southside, and now I'm really outside with niggas. Niggas is loving me like, oh shit, you know, they ain't, cause most people, they like, yo, homeboy, they don't even know. They just know I'm Warren and D cousin from Brooklyn. They don't know I'm Blurr. They don't know I already been through all of the hammer situations and all of that. And to not really know homeboy like that, he must have been like, oh, he really, I ain't gonna say fell in love with me, but really became a big bro. Like, yo, I love this little nigga, cause R.O.D. got me about like 5 years, you feel me? 4 or 5 years. So he was like, damn, he liked that realness, like, yo, I ain't leave him behind, you know what I'm saying? Cause a lot of them dudes, they scattered and got out of there. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't too many coming back into that strip club. So that's one incident that happened with us. Then your boy, he used to run around out there too, all type crazy. There's this one dude, they call him Boo Boo. You know what I'm saying? Now, I heard stories about him and shit like that, you know, because you always hear something about his name. Boo Boo did this or Boo Boo did that. You know what I'm saying? But I paid it really no mind. So I finally see this dude, and I guess he realized like, oh, so a new face in the hood. You know what I'm saying? I started coming outside. I'm a new face in the hood, and I guess he got the word like I'm so and so cousin, and this, that, and the third from Brooklyn. But this, I figure he must have had a certain type of respect for me, because this situation didn't go all the way, you know. Now, sometimes I would walk up and down. God Brew. One time I walked up and down, and he was standing on the block. See, he's a Queens dude, but he knew a lot of Brooklyn people. You know what I'm saying? He had some Brooklyn people. Like I said before, I was rocking with Next Level. So I come to the boulevard, and I see this Queens cat. He up there talking to one of my homies, man. Christ, DV alias Christ. You know what I'm saying? The one who seen the hooks on Trigger and Smooth joint. You know, Christ. He's think to yourself, how would it be without the dollar bill, y'all? But anyway, that guy with the wild hand shit. I'm like, oh shit. And this was like Boo Boo. He was starting to do music, doing his rap shit. So that's how he started meeting people. But he was still in the street, so I couldn't really put it together. And I'm saying to myself, if this dude do music, why is he with this guy? This guy, he hustling and bullying niggas around this community. What the hell is Christ doing in Queens, chopping it up with this dude, right? So I walk up, I gave Christ a dap, whatever. He must have looked like, he must have got the little whisper like, oh yeah, son from Boo, blah, 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 right? Now, time goes by, and God bless the dead, his best friend. Now, his best friend, his uncle is from 190 York, and his uncle is the big bro that God can do. So his nephew Ja, and Ja ain't no rap artist. He's a straight, rest in peace. He was outside, you know what I'm saying? Official 551, you know? And I seen him talking to Boo Boo on the block too. Came up, gave him some love, gave Ja love, blah, blah, blah. Kept it pushing. I seen Boo Boo peep, like, what the hell? This little, you know, so he already know, like, nah, this little nigga's around. He get around, you know what I'm saying? He a Brooklyn dude for real. And I didn't know that Ja was like his best friend and shit, like, you know. But that's my family, because we family, you know. He come to Farragut, you know what I'm saying, and all of that. They said he was 50 best friend or something like that. They became cool. But dude told me, like, when they did the Get Rich or Die Trying movie, he said Terrence Howard actually played the role of his nephew. You feel me? He said that part right there is my nephew, boy, that's Ja. He said that's the part he played, you know? So I guess that's what it all boils down to, you know what I'm saying? And you know, the Play-Dohs, you know what I'm saying? So if anybody hear this, they know I'm telling the truth, you know? Like dude had me try to reach out to 50 some years ago, but nothing never happened. He wanted to get up with her. Nobody never sent the word back, you know? But so they had an area on God Brewer. It's near Circle 5 in Rockdale. It was a park. They call it the Yard of Terror. You know what I'm saying? And Friday nights, pretty much any night of the week, people hopping the fence, sit in the Yard of Terror. It's a big old park, open space, and all of that. And that's where it goes down. Everybody sitting on benches, smoking, drinking, you know? Friday night. And I call him my cousin. His name was Unique now. I go by the name Unique. But everybody know Tawan. You know, Darian Tawan. I gotta say their names. You feel me? Now, it's a Devil Springs night. You know, there's mad LBs out there. 134 LBs. Not too many LBs from the Rockaway side. That Rockaway, that's Cheeks and all of them. 134 side is Tyleek. You know what I'm saying? Rest in peace, Freaky Ty. You know, and so we be over there. This dude, Unique, he get into a situation with this female. I'm gonna leave her name out of it, but she was close with Boo Boo, you know? I think they was messing around or something like that. And he had a situation with her. I think he hit her with a bottle or something like that, you know what I mean? And she went and told, and the word got back to him. And he was coming across the street, you know what I'm saying? And for some reason, the violence never got there. It was a big old crowd. I walked into the crowd and I locked eyes with him. We locked eyes, and I guess it's the six simmered down, even though you had a couple of the bigger LBs from 134 was over there trying, mediate the situation before it got too out of control or what have you. But I think the fact that I came over there and he saw me, you know what I'm saying, because it's my family, and he probably was like, let me try to figure out a different way, because he obviously know I'm people with his people, you know what I mean, from Brooklyn. Like, hold on. So that never went too far, but yeah, Boo Boo was a monster over there on 134, man. Yeah, he turned into 50. You know what I'm saying? I got to meet a few people, little Smurf, rest in peace, Silky, Nervous, all of them. Free Damo, Domination, you know what I'm saying? Word, Domination is Freaky Todd's little cousin too, man. Word the mother, man. That little area, it was like the boulevard of broken dreams, man. So much greatness came through there, man, and that we lost. Yo, Talik was gonna manage my boxing career, man. And he had a group from 134. He was more called J&J Project. That's J Drama and Juggernaut. You know what I'm saying? And he was gonna pay for me my professional training and the Golden Glove, turned me pro and all of that in '99, man. There was so much he for his boys from the hood. He had a lot going on. May 11th, 2024, they changing 134th Avenue. They naming it after him. It's going to be Raymond Rogers joint. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if it's going to name it Raymond Rogers Raymond Rogers Ave, Raymond Rogers Boulevard, or, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, they finally going to name his block after him, son. This the block he died on, 134 will be named Raymond Rogers joint, May 11th this year.
Hey yo, whatever streaming platform you listen to music on, type in Gen Pop Jail Stories, Gen Pop St. Laz, and catch that new installment of these Gen Pop jail and prison stories that I got out right now. You heard, this particular album is all my jail stories. You heard? There's 3 Gen Pop volumes out there. Make sure you go check all of those. You're Z-Lord.
Hey yo, LAZ reporting live from New York City, you heard? If you represent that book gang, that reading gang, and you ain't reading that blood sagas, you bugging out, you heard? If you got peoples in the penitentiary, send them that fire. You heard? Make sure this is on your book list, the blood sagas. Go to bloodsaga.com and download the digital version. And that audio book is on the way, you heard? Z-Man Suicide Polo with the Ski Man, get at me.
Had to bust the up north jail pose on that. You heard? Go cop that fire.